Good evening. This is Sam Dosa, and with my co host Jennifer Beaumont White. We are presenting our new TV show or chat show called Believe in Business, promoting passion in business. This segment is going to be bring a lot of expert in the field of personal development, also in the startup. Where if you are a newbie to starting a business, and if you're looking to gain experience in the areas which are going to be coming in your life, this is the platform you have to watch and learn skills from our experts who have been in the business for decades, as well as being training and teaching a lot of other people. My co-host is emotional, I would say, freedom technique specialist. She's been in the business for 3 decades as well, and her expertise has been flourished in several other areas as well. She also have a business love mastery group where she get a lot of people coming in and gaining a lot of insight of her expertise. She is also a presenter, also a facilitator, and a mother of two beautiful sons. One of them is a singer and have his own future in media industry, and she's a very proud mother. So,
Yes, indeed.
Jennifer, all the platform is yours now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sam, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, my younger son is a singer-songwriter, and I'm absolutely so proud of him. And he's a millennial, just like my elder son, who is he's a bit old. He's 4 years older, and both of them live in the States. And our guest tonight is a specialist in working with millennials. So I can't wait to actually interview him. But first, I'm going to introduce you, my co-host. Now, Sam's a highly successful business and personal coach who specializes in burnout. What started as a personal and permanent transformation process back in 2002, Sam quickly realized this to be his life's calling that made him decide to become a business and heart transformation coach, burnout specialist, and a motivational speaker. And he's originally from Karachi, Pakistan. Sam currently resides in beautiful Birmingham in the United Kingdom. And we're really, really chuffed to have our wonderful guest here tonight. So I'm not sure if you wanted to say any more, Sam, but I'd just like to just get straight into speaking to Ik, because I've had a previous conversation with Ik. I've known Ik for a while, and he is a phenomenal expert in business startup, working with millennials. He's he's a really nice guy, and he really truly understands some of the big mistakes that people make when they're starting their business, and he's going to go through some of those tonight. Now, just to do a proper introduction, Ik Lok is also known as the UK's #1 clarity coach. His company is called Limit Break Lifestyle, which he co-founded with Jonah Poon, his business partner. He's a British-born, Chinese-inspired entrepreneur and business startup mentor for millennials. He's a transformational trainer in influential leadership. So, without further ado, I'd like just to hand over to Ik and let just take it away. If you'd like to say a little bit more about yourself, Ik, and what you do.
Wow, thank you very much for that introduction, Jen. That's blown my mind away. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be in the show. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you for both of you to invite me on along in the show. It is an honor and it's a pleasure to be here. So thank you very much for having me. So
it's an honor for us to have you.
Yeah, thank you. So like you said, I specialize in working with millennials specifically, especially those who are lost and stuck in life. They might be, you know, 'cause I personally went through that journey myself where I didn't know who I was or what I wanted to do in life. Believe it or not, I didn't even really know what the word entrepreneur meant until I was 27. So talk about being completely oblivious and ignorant about what's around us, right? So so I realized that a lot of the problem with millennials, for example, these days are the fact that they go through life thinking that they need to get a job, you know, study well, get a degree, follow the traditional path, and then come out, get a job, and then, you know, pay your bill, pay your tax, and you die, right? Settle down with a family. But a lot of them, they don't want to go down that route. Somewhere deep inside them, they realize there must be more in life. There must be more to life than just doing the same old. So,
can I just ask you?
Yeah.
Can you define what a millennial? I can never say that word.
Millennial, yeah.
I've been doing a bit of research on that, and apparently
Sure.
there are people born between the early 80s and the late 90s.
Correct.
And they're now coming into adulthood and you know, maybe having children, starting business, or you know, progressing their career, but they have a certain attitude which is different from us oldies.
Yeah,
that makes it a bit of a challenge to get through life for them.
So the millennials are those who are born in the 80s, right? People were born between the 80s to before the millennial, before the year 2000. So technically, I mean, there's a gray area like what age group you are. I mean, if you classify yourself as a millennial because you resonate with that particular 20-year or gap of era, then you're pretty much that's you're a millennial. You know, millennials are people like myself who've gone through a transition phase where we're old enough to know what a cassette tape and a cassette player is, and we're not too old to figure out what an MP3 player is, right? I mean, like now we've got smartphones and like we've got MP3s and like, so we've been through that fast. The millennial like ourselves, we've been through the fast. We've witnessed from cassette tapes to the, you know, that fast transition of technology to now using my God, like this awesome app Be Live. You know, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So so millennials or anyone around. I mean, most millennials nowadays they're between the age of 27 to 37. That age group. I'm 33 myself.
Wow. I didn't realize you were that age at all when I first met you.
Yeah.
If you are 33, then what do you think? If you are in that age and you are already working towards your success, that's quite astonishing. What I call it amazing, because that's what it likes to be in that mindset, and that's your journey, correct? That's your journey.
That is it. That is my journey. I mean, sometimes I still compare myself to my mentors, right? I mean, like two of my mentors, they become financially free at the age of 25 and 27. So,
whoa,
you know, sometimes when I think about it, I was like, damn, I've got a lot of catching up to do. But, you know, everyone's got their own journey.
Yeah, and as you say, the technology has actually helped a lot of younger people to really progress their business and be financially free. So I believe that you've got tonight you're going to be telling us the 6 deadly mistakes that people make when they're starting up their businesses, and help us to avoid those mistakes, because you've been through a journey yourself. So if you'd like to tell us a little bit about your journey, how you come to be discovering those mistakes, and then what those mistakes are, so we can all be jotting them down. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So just a little bit, very briefly about my story. I was I mentioned that I was a lost kid once, typically because I grew up in an Asian family where my second most earliest childhood memory was when I was 4 years old, and I ran up to the kitchen because I heard some noise and arguments and like really, really loud noise. I heard my dad screaming and my mom screaming. And then when I ran upstairs, I saw right in front of me my dad holding up a chair ready to smack my mom in the head. At that age, I didn't know what to expect because I was a kid, right? And then I realized what had happened after I grew up. After a bit of information digging from my parents, because everyone was there. My grandparents were there, my aunties and uncles, they were all around. You know, it was a big meeting, whatever was going on. So what I found was that my mom decided that she wanted to be a Christian. she wanted to take on the new Christianity belief, and my dad was very, very against that. He's a non-believer, he's an atheist, and he felt that, you know, if she went down that path, it would just cause chaos with the family. So, you know, I had to grow up in a family. So eventually, you know, he allowed her to become a Christian, but he made her promise him that he would never, ever take us to church, which she failed. Okay. But that's another story for another day. But I grew up in a family not knowing who was right. I grew up in a family not know, you know, it's kind of like who's right, your mom or your dad, or who should you take side on? It's like you feel torn apart, and I was personally very, very torn apart between the two. So because I love my dad and I love both mom and my dad too, right? But so I was being in a
divorced family.
Yeah, exactly.
But still living together.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot. I mean, I've had it fortunate more because my parents stuck together. They've never divorced. They stuck together because of us, even though that the love was no longer there between my parents, which is a shame. But and that's why I respect both of my parents, and I love them. So I'm more fortunate than most people. But still, that as a result, as a consequence, I became very lost. I became very, very lost in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, I was just going to church on every Sunday with mum. Didn't really know, you know, whether or not I believed it or not. You know, I say I believe it, and then I grow up not having the passion as much as she does. And then at the same time, I felt like a disappointment to my dad. You know, I was going up through a phase where I was just completely lost. So long story short, I became a university dropout because I was just listening to my mom and dad. They were telling me what to do, and I would just do it just for the sake of pleasing them, right? They told me to get good grades. Yeah. They told me to study hard. I study hard. They tell me to get good grades. I get good grades. They tell me to go uni. I go uni, right? And I just hated it. I just hated studying. I just hated uni. And I was studying a degree called mechanical engineering. Oh my God, it was as boring as hell. I mean, I'm not attacking any mechanical engineers out there. I was just saying that's not for me. Right? So I hated it so much that I just decided, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I just quit. I just said to my dad one day, you know what, Dad, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to study. And then he just said nothing that night. He didn't say anything. And that's when I felt like, although I had a dad, I felt like I never had a father in my life at all. But I still love him. And then so I became a dropout, and I just went into finance back around. I became a finance assistant, did a bit of full-time employment work until I was 27. So fast forward 27, one December night changed my life, and that was I had a car crash. Yeah, I had a really, I was so, it was my stupidity. I forgot to change the tires. So the tires had no more treads in them. So it totally lost grip. I totally lost control of the car, and my car started spinning, and it was a total write-off. I wish I could show you the picture of my car. It was a disaster, but thankfully I'm still alive. But it was during that moment of car, you know, that spin-off that, I'm not sure if anyone who's listening ever had some sort of like a near life and death experience, because I did. It was during that moment I had a flashback. You know, it was like your brain's on fire. I was seeing all my memories started popping up, like really, really quickly. And what felt like a 5-second spin, it felt like a 20 minutes of slideshow to me. That's how magical it was. It was quite scary at the same time. But I saw all the memories back from the past. I saw my mom, my dad, and all the childhood memories. But at the same time, here's what's magical about it. I also saw my future.
Oh wow!
I saw glimpses of future, and believe it or not, I saw myself standing on stage, inspiring other people. I saw a vague image of the woman I was going to love, and I saw very briefly who I was going to become as a person, and that really inspired me. And that really inspired me. I mean, like, you really can't make this up, but it really inspired me to and that's when I decided, like, you know what? I need another chance. I mean, I was praying or whatever you call it. I was just saying to, like, you know, God, whatever, give me another chance. And
so many people who've had that sort of near-death experience have said the same thing. They saw their past flash in front of them and the future, and it really changed their lives. So you were blessed in that moment.
I am
really
blessed. That was a blessing for me, and obviously the car was a write-off and everything, but that's cool. And then I decided that moment changed my life. It was that moment there and then that I made a decision. I chose to really figure out who I am, because I didn't know. I said to myself, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want in life, and I don't know what my passion and my purpose is in life, but I'm going to find out. I am going to figure it out. And then that's when I embarked on my journey of self-discovery. I went into, and then all sorts of industry opened up to me. I discovered entrepreneurship. I discovered the personal development. I discovered, leadership. I discovered human psychology. I actually figured out that I was actually passionate in psychology, human psychology, as well as philosophy. You know, I'm a philosopher.
How did that actually come about? I mean, did you get up the next day and go to the library, or did you?
No, with the philosophy. I mean, I've always liked mind games and stuff like that. I love to play chess and all sorts of, any kind of mental stuff. So I've always liked to I've always said, I wish I had a superpower to read people's minds. Because I love how people's mind tick, right? And then I thought, you know what? Yeah, let me look into psychology. So I was obsessed with works like Carl Jung and all forms of psychology and even philosophy. And one of my colleagues, I spoke to one of my colleagues, and he said he studied philosophy. I thought, what's that? And he started talking to me about philosophy, about, and then he led me a book. And my very first book that I read on philosophy was by Plato, called The Republics, which is about the whole theme of the book is about what's justice, what's real justice in the world. And I was really, really hooked. And I thought, wow, if only I had known, I would have studied philosophy, because that's who I am. I'm a philosopher. Deep down, I'm a philosopher.
It's quite fascinating, because I'm going through with practical philosophy classes at the moment. So,
oh my gosh!
Completed a module on wisdom, and now the next module we are talking about happiness, and there is a discussion about Plato philosophy, and the third module is about love. So quite an intriguing chapter in life, knowing the philosophy of words and everything.
Awesome. So and so I studied works like Confucius and Aristotle, and I realized that actually philosophy and leadership goes hand in hand. And what I've actually found out is that actually I've always wanted to be the best version of myself, because I got into the personal development space, right? So I was heavily investing in my own personal development. I was going to all sorts of events like Tony Robbins and all that stuff, and I was like, I'm going to be the best version of myself. I want to grow on to grow. And I realized, and then they say that you must always have a why. If your why doesn't make you cry, then you must have a why. All right. So my why has always been that I didn't want my children. I don't have any children yet, but I said I want to be the best dad ever. I want my children to look up to me as a role model. But then here's the thing. I've also found out that's a mistake, because there's actually two ways you can see, because there's always a dark side to everything. To every truth, there's a flip side. And I realized that actually that's my egoic why. That's my ego's why, because that's about me. That's about me being the light. That's about me shining, being the role model. And I realized the reverse side of that is actually leadership, because leadership is not about me. Leadership is about the other person. Leadership about service, and then, but it's still about you growing to be the best version of yourself, right? It's not just you growing, but you also lifting other people up. I thought that's it. That's my real why. And then my why changed. My real why became that actually it's not even about me being a role model. I couldn't care less about myself. I will still grow, but it's about me giving the best tools I could possibly give to other people, such as my future children, to make them a leader, so that they can be my role model. That became my new why, and that's when new inspiration came up. And I realized that it's actually my greatest passion is leadership and philosophy and entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship and leadership goes hand in hand as well. So that's how I started on my journey.
I get what you're saying about actually being inspired by your children, because both my boys are millennials, and every day, whenever they're doing something, their tenacity, their work ethic, their whatever they're doing is like beyond what I would be doing at their age, and it's like, wow, they are my biggest inspiration.
Yes.
I'm really proud of them, and they sort of give me tips and hints on the next level of being the best version of myself.
Yes.
But they always come back and say, "Oh, Mom, we couldn't have done it without you," kind of thing. But I can see this greatness in them, so it's like a two-way street. Yeah. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So actually, I can't wait to be a dad, because not because I want to be a dad, but because I realize that my children will be my greatest teacher.
Oh, they are. I'm a proud father of 3 girls, and my oldest one is 17.
Beautiful.
And my twins are 14, going to be 14 tomorrow. So I'm looking forward for their birthday tomorrow.
Wow, happy birthday to him.
They are our teachers in certain extent, but they still need their... Absolutely.
Yeah. So fast forward. So as I got into when I discovered entrepreneurship, I really wanted to be an entrepreneur and create my own business and be successful in my own authentic way. And so, I was a sucker for opportunities. I was what you would call a business opportunity junkie, a seminar junkie. Right? I'll jump from one event to another workshop to another seminar. I'll buy into all sorts of courses. Trust me, forex trading, I've done it. Right. Network marketing, I've done it. Internet online marketing, I've done it. Creating my own business, I've created 3 business that I dissolved. They were failures. Every single thing that you can think of that that's under the moon, like Kindle, Amazon Kindle publishing, and all sorts of like ad banners. I've done it. All sorts of money making scheme vehicles and any kind of entrepreneurship ventures. I've pretty much done it in one way or another, because I was hungry for success. During that phase, I was like, I wanted to grow, wanted to learn, and it was fun at a time. But I was quite naive at the same time, because I was trying to figure out which vehicle suited for me, which ended up wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. So that was the first mistake, actually, because so I'm going to be sharing 6 mistakes if there's time. But the first mistake that most people make in life, specifically millennials, aspiring entrepreneurs these days, right now, like people like myself, the first mistake that we make is that we're aiming for something that we call a negative vision, which is a false goal. So it's a vision that you think is yours, but it's not. It's not the vision. It's not the exact vision you're going for. It's called a negative vision because the purpose of the vision, the intention, the motivation behind that vision is so that you can avoid something else. Let me say that again. A negative vision is when you go for a goal in life. It's a false goal because the intention of that is so that you can avoid something else. My goal when I first started out as an entrepreneur, so my goal when I first started out was to become financially free. Right? Who's been there? That was my goal. I was like, when I learned about passive income and when I learned about financial freedom, I thought, oh my God, this is awesome. Now, if I could just become financially free, then I could quit my job, travel around the world, and then do what I want. But the intention behind that was so that I could not be stuck. You see, my goal was freedom, obviously, because freedom implies that I will no longer be stuck, and then I can quit my job. Can you see the difference? It's not because I wanted. It's not because I wanted the financial freedom. It's not because I love doing that particular thing. It's because I felt that if I went for that and I got that, then I can go out and do what I love. And a lot of people make that mistake. Because then they go into a venture, they go into a business venture, doing something that they're either not passionate about, they don't have, it doesn't serve the world, they don't feel inspired to do it, or they're not good at it, or it's just something that is just not in their nature to do so. Like
in coaching, in coaching we call that an away from pain modality, and then you've got the towards pleasure. Away from pain. That's where you were at with that. And it's having that level of commitment for your own dream. rather than
Exactly.
somebody else's. Yeah.
Exactly. So I realized that in order to succeed, if you want to succeed, especially in business, you got to create a business that you authentically love. You got to go for something that you authentically love to do. So when I figured that out, when I realized that, and then I decided, you know what, actually, what I really love is leadership. What I really love is teaching people and coaching people, and helping and lifting people up. So it was more of the coaching aspect, but not so much of one-to-one coaching, because then I said, okay, I really want to figure out what is it I really want to do. In Japanese concept, it's called ikigai, right? You got to figure out what is it you're really good at, you love, the world needs, and you can get paid for. So I thought, okay, I love personal development. I love leadership. I love to help people grow and become the best version of themselves. I love to pass skills on. Okay, so then there's 3 modalities. I could do that. 4 modalities: coaching, consulting, training, and mentorship. I said, which one am I? Because so many people say, oh, I'm going to be a coach. Oh, everyone's a coach these days. But really, if you look deep down in yourself, are you really a coach? Do you really love to be a coach? I mean, don't get me wrong. There are lots of great coaches that I'm surrounded by, both of you are great coaches too, I'm sure. But I discovered I'm not a coach. I can coach. I have the skills to coach, but I actually don't enjoy one-on-one that much, because remember what I said earlier, I'm a philosopher, right? And that also implies that there's a side of me that actually I love teaching. I'm a teacher as well. So I said, okay, actually I love teaching. I love actually teaching people knowledge and sharing knowledge. I love storytelling. So then I realized actually coaching is not so much of me, but consulting is, but the main one is actually training facilitating training groups of people. And I thought that's what I'm going to be. I want to be a leadership trainer. I'm going to be a facilitator to provide a group transformation for everyone. So rather than doing just one-on-one stuff, we decided to turn Limit Break Lifestyle into a leadership training company. So that we can help more people and leverage our time. And that way I get to teach and I get to tell stories. And that's exactly what I love to do. So that's how Limit Break Lifestyle was born.
Fantastic. So how long has that been running for?
We've been working on a project since 2013, but we didn't launch. We say we've been working on it. It was just like, we've been dabbling here and there. But when we took it seriously, Joan and I, we launched the business within 6 months in 2000. So we started summer 2015 and we launched it in 2016, early 2016. So our company's been officially trading for 2.5 years now, coming up to 3 years.
Done.
Yeah.
Well done. And you're completely happy.
Love it.
Absolutely.
I would never change anything. I mean, it can only grow.
Fabulous. So obviously between the first mistake and then setting up your business and going through all your pain and pleasures and everything, obviously you found the other 5 mistakes that people are making, the deadly mistakes. So what would they be?
So they come hand in hand. So the second mistake, really briefly, not sure how much time we have, but the second mistake is doing what you love.
Yes.
Because
can I just call you on that, because there's a lot of talk about doing what you love and going for your passion, but actually passion doesn't pay the rent. So how do you balance between paying the rent, going for what you want, and having a successful business doing what you love?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because there's a Chinese saying that you can't eat love. You can have all the love in the world. That comes from a saying where it's like, you can be the best boyfriend in the world, but if you can't provide food on the table, there's no family. So you can't eat love.
Exactly.
So that's a myth. It's not so much of doing what you love, and passion as well is a myth as well, because passion is not. A lot of people say, I want to find my passion. Passion is not, you can't find passion, because passion is an energy. If you actually study passion, if you know what passion really is, in a Chinese element, is associated to the fire energy, it's associated to the heart energy, it's associated to summer. And after every summer comes autumn. The passion is not sustainable. The fire energy is never sustainable. It becomes earth energy, because passion is generated, by the way, when you do what you love, or when you're doing something new, or when you're learning something new, you generate that passion automatically. It's not found, it's generated from within. But after a couple of hours, it dies out. You can't, it's not sustainable because it gets to a point where you need to assimilate. Like, I'll give you a really great analogy. I'm a pianist. I'm a composer. I'm a musician myself, and I play the piano. And I get very passionate when I start learning a new piece of piano. But I can tell you now, the more I play that piece, the more I practice, that passion goes. It gets boring. But I have to keep practicing if I want to master that piece. You see what I'm saying? Because mastery doesn't, you know, if you want mastery, you have to give up that whole concept of sustaining your passion. Because when you're assimilating, when you're in the assimilation phase, when you're in the path of mastery, when you're practicing, whatever you was first passionate about, it will die. That's why that's why when you get into a new relationship, the passion arises, but then what happens? The honeymoon phase disappears as well, right? Exactly. It's the same for that's life.
Yeah.
That's life. So it's not just so much of doing what you love. It's find something you love and you do it. You will have passion, but over time that you will expect the passion to die. Expect it to die. But you have to keep going. You have to just keep going. And so in entrepreneurship, it's in business context, right? It's not so much of doing what you love. It's more about creating a business that you actually love to do, that you actually love to work in, and working with customers and clients that you would love to serve. So it's not just doing what you love, because I love, you know, I love waking up late in the afternoon in my underwear, eating pizza and play some computer games, but that's not going to feed the family, right? And that's what I love, but it doesn't add value to the marketplace. So that goes to that goes into the third mistake as well, because what you love to do must also add value to the marketplace. Because the third mistake most people make is like, oh, hey, I have a great idea. You know, what do you think? You know, yeah, I say, well, it sounds like a great idea, but have you tested the market? Is that what you think is a great idea? Or is that what other people think is a great idea? You know, because most brilliant ideas don't work. Most brilliant ideas are deluded concept that we came up with that thinking, oh my God, it's going to work. Have you tested the market? Does it add value to people's life? And here's three very powerful questions. Well, it's not so much of a question, but the mistakes that people make when they come up with so-called brilliant ideas, which is not so brilliant. Most people fail in business, not being able to sell the product or service because they fall into one of these three things. And that is, they're either producing a result that nobody wants, right? You might want the result, but nobody else wants that result, right? So you're producing a result that nobody wants, or you're solving a problem that nobody has, that nobody needs. You know, it's like you invented a new problem to begin with that nobody had to begin with, and it just doesn't serve the world. And another one is in relation to art, and that is, so in the music industry, because I'm a musician myself, a lot of people, they make the mistake of commercializing a piece of art that nobody actually appreciates or understands. So a great example of this would be all the greats. Dead Van Gogh, Leonardo, you know, the problem with them was not because their wasn't an art masterpiece, they were, but the people at their time weren't ready. The people at their time weren't ready for their art. It was only later on that people in the later generation discovered that, wow, this is a masterpiece, because they could actually appreciate it. But the people at their time, when they first created, nobody appreciated it, nobody understood. So you got to be very, very careful when you're commercializing a piece of art. I mean, do art for the sake of yourself. But if you're trying to make a business out of it, you got to be very, very careful not to commercialize art that nobody in the current market understands or do not appreciate. So that's the mistake. So most brilliant ideas don't work in that as well. So you got to do what you love, but when you do what you love, got to provide actual market value. You know, provide actual value to the marketplace. Those are the top three mistakes that people make. Moving on, the fourth mistake people make is focusing on the money. Again, is very, very linked to the first mistake, which is a negative vision. You know, when you're both business owners, so you could both confirm to this, that, you know, when you focus on the money, then it is no longer what you love to do, right? Because it becomes, money becomes the driving force, which is actually, it's soul destroying. It's very soul destroying. It
creates a very in-depth unsettledness, because if you are started to think about money, you won't be able to deliver the authenticity within you.
Exactly. And you become desperate as well. Yeah.
You deliver the services to your potential customer.
Absolutely.
Customer, I learned one thing is customer is always right, but sometimes you have to choose your customers as well, because not every customer is going to suitable for you, because sometimes in terms of you take the customer, but that customer wasn't worthy of your services.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of
offering you a
problem.
good money, but do you think that taking that person on board will creating more problem for you than anybody
Yes.
else?
Yeah. We call that client from hell.
Yes, yeah, I've had some of them, and I refuse to work with them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where having a clear client avatar or your client demographic or customer demographic is really paramount. So you know who you want to work with, and they are willing to pay you the money that you're asking for as well.
Yeah.
So it's like the Dragon's Den situation that so many people have gone into that.
Exactly, right?
My little thing is gonna, and they say, well, what makes you think that? You know, we really don't want it. You know,
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people have. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people have a good idea. They have really great ideas, but they don't have a great business to support that idea. That's where the mistake is. You gotta have a great business, a structure behind it that will actually support the idea. Otherwise, the idea is just an idea. It will never take form because it's just not practical. It's not practical. I mean, maybe later on in the future where technology becomes more advanced, maybe, but you know, a lot of the ideas these days it's just not practical. It's just not. So it becomes a bad business. It becomes very, very bad business. Focusing on the money is again, that could be a negative vision for most people as well. And actually, when you deliver so much value, when you create so much value in a marketplace, money will just come to you. Money is a byproduct of value creation in the process anyway. So the fifth mistake is actually a very funny one. It's actually, believe it or not, is passive income. It's actually a lot of people going for passive income. I fell into that trap. Passive income doesn't exist. For those of you who's listening to this, passive income doesn't exist. What people don't understand is passive income really is just deferred income. Is because passive income surely is not effortless. Don't expect, a lot of people expect, oh, we could just create this money making machine and it will run forever. First of all, that money making machine takes a lot of time and energy and effort to create. All right. And once you created it, I mean, you could, you're spending all that time and energy creating that machine, that passive income generating machine, just to realize that actually you're not getting paid. And then when it starts generating what you call passive income, what you're really getting paid is you're getting paid backlogged of all the money that you owe to begin with. So it's deferred income. It's not passive. It's just deferred. It's like you working for me for a year and I'll pay you next year. That's all it is. There's no difference. And also, passive income is an illusion. It doesn't exist because no passive income vehicle right now, unless it's your own business, is sustainable, because just because it's passive, my mentor taught me this, just because it's passive doesn't mean it's permanent. You know, a lot of people made a lot of passive income doing Google, what you call those Google analytic things, right? Back in the 7 years ago, until Google changed their analytics. Until Google changed the algorithm, everyone lost their job. Everyone lost their machine.
Yeah.
Back in them days, we had passive income, Google, again, Kindle, Amazon, Kindle publishing, right? That used to be a really, really good way of generating passive income. You write a few Kindle books, you publish it on Amazon, you publish 100 books, you're going to get a couple of quids here and there. You know, it's all about producing lots and lots of books, and then you generate passive income. That doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore because information is everywhere now. Information is free. No one pays you for information anymore. People pay you for implementation and done for you service and transformation. So even that is gone. So people who spend all the time creating all these Kindle books, they're not making any money anymore. So understand that just because it's passive today doesn't mean it's going to stay passive tomorrow. So passive income doesn't exist. It just doesn't. It's an illusion.
I think the entire existence is an illusion for if you look at it, if you are philosophically thinking about it, everything is an illusion.
Yeah, it is.
So before we go forward, I just wanted to welcome people who have been watching this live broadcast. Our expert guest is Ik Lok, and my co-presenter Jennifer, and myself Sam Dosa. This is a live Facebook Live program, TV, which is Believe in Business, promoting passion in business. I have Peter Elliott actually said a question.
Hi,
is
Peter.
that
I know Peter.
Thank you, Peter, for joining us. He's saying, Ek, that so should you have a good business or a good idea first? What do you think?
So something I teach in millennials who want to start their business is discover what the ikigai is. So you spell that as Ikigai, 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 or Ikigai. Is a Japanese concept. You can Google it. It's a Japanese concept called the reason for being, and everyone. So by Japanese concept, the traditional Japanese culture, they believe that everyone has a purpose in life that they can play to their strength, that they're good at. So it's something that they're good at, something that they love, something that the world needs that they can provide, and they can also get paid for it. Now, if you discover what your ikigai is, if you know very clearly what your ikigai is, you can then create a business concept around that instead. So the idea should be born from what you're good at and what you love. Then, so you do need to have the idea, but the idea is more of the concept of how are you going to deliver value to the marketplace. Then you ask the question, what business model or structure could I can incorporate into this business idea that I can use to make it work. So I'll give you as an illustration of how Limit Break Lifestyle work in this sense, right? I discovered that what I love was leadership. I'm good at teaching. I'm good at training people. I can get paid for being a facilitator and training. The world needs more leaders. You see, I discovered my ikigai. It was obvious to me. So then, great. So what is my business concept? Well, my business concept is really, really straightforward. It's just, I just want to create influential leaders who are, I want to turn millennials from lost sheep, lost souls to becoming leaders in their life. So I want to create influential leaders and entrepreneurs who also inspire millennials, who also inspire the next generation of leaders and impact the next generation of leaders. That's my big game. That's my concept, right? So that's all it is. It's very, very simple. I just want to create more leaders. That's it. So then the question is, so what business model suits that purpose? Well, then in order to do that, I just got to create a training business around it. Just do a training business. That's it, right? So, and then there's a lot of different business model out there that you can adopt into your company to provide training service. You could do it through corporate training, in-house training, or you rent out, or you do your own, events and workshops. There's all sorts of models, but it's finding one that works for you. So I would say figure out what is it you love instead. Figure out what your ikigai is, what you're good at, and also then create a business idea around that. Don't just come up with any random idea. Just create a natural idea that is sustainable, that practical term you can deliver to the market. That would be my response for that question.
That sounds. I mean, from my experience, that sounds exactly a really solid way of doing business. Come up with what's going on in here, your passion, your purpose, your dharma. I call it your dharma. Find your dharma.
Yeah, exactly. That's what dharma is. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Different word that means the same thing. Exactly. That's what the dharma is. Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You got to find your dharma.
So we got to the fifth mistake. Did we do the fifth mistake? And then
fifth mistake, yes. So the last mistake, the sixth mistake is a lot of people that come to me, a lot of my clients, after they have a clarity session with me, a strategy day, a power day with me, they discover what their big vision is. They just like, oh my God, that's what I'm here to do. That's my grand purpose. That's my mission. And then they'll go, hey, I don't think I'm ready for this. The vision's so big, it scares the shit out of them. And then it starts getting cold feet, right? And then there's like, oh, no. I got to find the right vehicle. I got to work on myself. I got to have the right mindset. And so the sixth mistake that most entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs I'm talking about, make is that they wait to have the right mindset or for the perfect vehicle to get started. That's the mistake. They wait too long. You gotta start. You just gotta start, because confidence comes from competence, right? You gotta do before you can actually build up that confidence. You can do all of the mindset training in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. You do need mindset, right? In order to succeed in life and in business, you gotta have the right mindset. You gotta have the sales skills. You gotta have the speaking skills. You gotta have all sorts of skill set and mindset, but you don't need it to get started. So a lot of people, they don't start. A lot of people, like the moment they've discovered, oh my God, I got this idea, but then they don't start. They don't do anything in life. Like my mentor said, you got to take action, right? But you got to take the right action. So I'll just say,
so my thing is
started.
Yeah, get it out there and then tweak it as you go along.
That's it. It
has to be good enough to start. Get to a point where it's good enough, and then get it out there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Like my mentor say, create the first zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you are not going to take action, nothing is going to happen. See, this platform which me and Jen has started, this is our action. We are implementing this. We know that deep down that this is something which is going to go to the next level. Level where we are going to be inviting experts like you to share their knowledge and their wisdom to the platform and give a knowledge to those who are starting their business, whether they are scratching the surface or they are already billionaires. Everybody needs a new idea, a new concept to engross themselves in, to work towards something which nobody has done it. So that's our vision and our thought process is about this platform.
I love it. I love it. That's why I'm honored to be in the show, a part of the show.
Yeah. And this is a prime example of just doing it, because Sam came to me with the idea and I said, yep, let's make it happen. And he's been the driver behind the whole thing, and I'm just sort of tagging along. But we had to, have meetings and setups and trials and to get to this point. And obviously we want it to grow so that we get more people involved and, bring in the expertise as well. And my thing is to have, I think it's a bit similar to yours, is to, my thing is business is going to be the thing that business people are going to be the ones that change the world.
Yes, because we had this conversation the other day. Yes.
Yeah. Politicians aren't doing it.
Yes.
Your religious leaders aren't doing it. And they're the top leading people. They're not doing it. They're fighting amongst themselves. And it's the individual, the solopreneur, the business owner with a great idea, with the business backing, has got the autonomy to be able to go out and say, hey, you know what, I've got a fantastic idea. I can touch you. I can change your mind. I can change your heart and, create a peaceful, more loving world if we, turn off our TVs. And that's one of the things I was going to say about the millennials tend to watch less TV and less advertising and get recommendations from their friends through social media or even, the gatherings and say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And you have to really sort of get to that point where you're really bringing the value so it spreads the word of mouth,
Yes,
so yes,
absolutely. You're right. We're coming to an era now that actually young people, not even millennials, but even a younger generation now, they really look up to what we call social media influencers. They are actually the new generation of leaders. Well, not leaders, but more of they call it influencers for a reason, because they really do influence people. And you realize that a lot of these influencers are the people who have lots of followings on YouTube, Instagram, all sorts, right? And who are they? If you look into them, they're actually entrepreneurs. They're business owners. They're leaders of themselves, and they're just doing their own thing, and they're making money doing their own thing, and they're influencing people while they're doing it. And I had a very great conversation with my fiance the other day and say, you know what? People talk about changing the world. The best way to change the world is be an influencer. Because
absolutely.
Believe it or not, a lot of the generation, for those of us who in the UK who went through the Brexit thing, guess what? A lot of youngsters, they were taking advice from influencers. They weren't looking. They weren't watching the news or newspaper, reading news. Like, what's all this Brexit bullshit going on? And then they would listen to influencers online to talk about Brexit, and they would actually You know, so actually, I really believe that, you know, if you want to change the world, you want to change the way people think. If you just become a great entrepreneur and become an influencer of your own right, and make and create a large following, like, you know, be a great leader. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it, right? But if you genuinely want to create change the world, you gotta put your personal brand out there. You have to be an influencer. You have to be a leader.
Absolutely.
You have to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. You're right, Jen. Is the small individual business owners, the small individual people that are making a big change in this world.
Exactly.
And that's not going anywhere.
And being authentic as well, being your own authentic, weird self. You know, like you're not like anybody else. You just be your own self. You just be who you are, and you will find your followers who want to follow you rather than you know, Joe blogs down or Jane blogs down the road. They follow you because of you and who you are. You might be saying the same thing. I might be saying the same thing as you, Ik, but I'll have my people like me.
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
your
absolutely.
people like you, and then, you know. And none of us want to fight our brothers. None of us want to, you know, badmouth our sisters. None of us want to shoot our neighbors. We all want to get on with each other. So if this kind of one-to-one philosophy, you know, and way of being, perpetuates throughout the world, the wars will end. You know, people won't want to be doing stuff, you know, like shooting each other and stuff like that. They'll just want to be helping and bringing value and, you know, making people feel happy, bringing the love and the icky, what's it thingy? What's it? You call it? bringing whatever's going on for you inside, bringing that out to each other, and everybody will get, you know, a beautiful world. But will we do it in time? This is the thing, you know, because there's a lot of horrible stuff going on out there. So
someone's got to start the movement, right?
Yeah. I'll follow you, Ik. I'll follow you.
Fantastic, Ik. That was a great discussion around 6 deadly mistakes for entrepreneurs who are starting. Mellennials. I can't pronounce that word as well. It's
I
quite.
Can't say that was
It's a tongue twister. It's a tongue twister. But amazingly, you would find 6 deadly mistakes where people can actually understand and connect and learn from those, avoid those deadly mistakes. Well, we can't. We shouldn't be. Well, should be. We should be doing it. But sometimes learning from those mistakes is also a good journey going forward with that as well. So So I would like to ask, what is now your upcoming offer for the audience? If there is something, would you like to share with us?
So I just recently created a free webinar for everyone, for the audience and for everyone, teaching the actual, you know, so I went through very briefly about the 6 mistakes, but in the webinar that I've created for you guys, I go through the 6 mistakes in more deeper details and also the solution for it as well. So was it Elliot? Peter asked a really great question. So actually, I actually have a solution about how do you tackle that problem and how do you create a business. So the webinar is specifically designed for aspiring entrepreneurs, serious millennial leaders, but it doesn't have to be millennials, you know. It just be anyone who wants to launch their own business, teaching you how you can launch your own inspired lifestyle business within 6 months. So I go through you everything. I teach you everything. I give everything away. I'm actually going to turn this webinar into a book as well very, very soon. It's about 90 minutes long. It's 17 minutes worth of content. So it's free. It's free to sign up. You could just watch it. And then towards the end, I have like a 20 minutes. I don't pitch or anything like that, but I explain how people can work with me. So if that doesn't interest anyone, you can just skip it. But it's a great 17 minutes worth of value, worth of content in that webinar. So that's something I have to offer for your audience right now. So the link to the webinar is www.lifestylebusinesscycle.com/webinar.
You can share that link to us. So what we will do is we will, with your website, with the link of your webinar, we will share it on the on our interview. This once we will finish the broadcast, we will send the link on that as well. Plus, once we will upload into our YouTube channel, we will share it over there as well. So we will maximize that connectivity to a lot of people, so people can take advantage of what you're offering, which is a very great gift, and we really humble and appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And expect me to be on that webinar because I've got an idea for a business. So, yeah.
Okay.
Another one.
Fantastic.
Jen, thank you for
before,
these tips.
before we wrap up, would you kindly just do a paraphrasing of those 6 deadly mistakes which Ik has actually mentioned?
Absolutely. So from what I understand, the first deadly mistake is having a negative vision, where you're avoiding something, moving away from something of pain towards something of pleasure, and you're doing something you really don't want to be doing. And instead of looking to your heart and thinking, okay, what do I really want to do? So that's what I believe that to be. Yeah. Second is, well, I say passion don't pay the rent, but it is doing what you love from a point of, I would be doing this thing no matter where I am and no matter what I'm doing. When the passion dies, I still want to be doing this thing because I love it so much. So that's the second one. The third one I got is add value to the marketplace, which is, I mean, you know, business is all about providing a service or a product for profit. I mean, you know, and you're not going to get that profit unless you've got some kind of value to give to someone. It's an exchange. You know, someone has a problem, you offer the value, they give you money. So that's business. So, but a lot of, as you say, a lot of people don't go in with that idea. They go in for the money, which is the next deadly mistake, is focusing too much on the money. I'm not actually on offering the value, whatever the value may be. The fifth deadly mistake is, what did I say right here?
Passive income.
Oh, passive income does not exist. See, I took my glasses of vanity. I took my glasses off. Okay, so passive income does not exist, and that is so true. There is no. You've got residual income, which is a completely different idea, but passive income, really, you have to do work at some kind at some point. Maybe it's like beginning or during the longevity, but it doesn't. Passive income doesn't exist. Hi, Ava. I can see your name come up. Avia, sorry. Hi. And the sixth deadly mistake people do when they are aspiring to start their business is to just don't do it. They're inactive. They don't take action. You know, they just sit on the idea and they want to learn more and more and more. I've been there. I mean, and Ike says he's been there, so you want to learn more and more and more. And you know, it's like, oh, I still don't know enough. I still don't know enough. Or it's not quite there yet. Or I haven't written the book yet. Or I haven't done this yet. I haven't got the shop yet. Every time I've started a business, I've just gone out and done it. When I started my salon business, it was like, okay, and who's got money to give me to start this business? Because I want to start this business. I asked around, got the money together, opened the shop, got my husband to paint the shop, and I was making money. If I'd sat there and thought, oh my gosh, how much is it going to cost to open this shop? And who am I going to get to do this? And I would have probably talked myself out of it and not do it at all. You just got to take the action. And as you're going along, tweak it as you go. You'll find people that come and drop in and help you. You get your people that are going to support you or joint venture with you, or, you know, something always happens to help you along the way, especially if you've got a bright idea and you're passionate about what you're doing. So I think I've covered all the 6. Yeah. And if you've got this amazing webinar that I'm definitely going to be looking at, and you haven't given us a date for that, Ik. What date is that on, the webinar?
The webinar will be launched on this Wednesday, 2 days time.
Wednesday coming, fantastic. Which is the 7th of February. Yeah, and time? What time?
8 o'clock London time.
8 o'clock, 8 p.m. So I'm going to clear my diary. I'll be there, and I'll be there with my notebook as well.
Great.
my new idea.
Thank you, Ik, for being our first guest. This was our first broadcast. Believe in business, passion, promoting passion in business with Sam and Jan. We are very humble and delighted to have Ik Lok on our first broadcast. And he's sharing his 6 deadly mistakes for entrepreneur who is starting their business or who are already doing the business. And he is offering a fantastic 90-minute webinar where he is going to be going through with more in depth of these 6 deadly mistakes what entrepreneurs are doing. So please watch out the comment box later on. We will put the link about his webinar as well as his website, where you can find some more information about Ik, how he can help you go to the next level in attending your passion for your business. And from now, for me and from Jen and from Ik, thank you very much for watching and supporting us. And we will be bringing a fantastic entrepreneur on the 19th of February. So watch this space where he will be sharing a lot of golden nuggets from his experience in the field of social media and other things. So thank you very much again, and bye for now.
Thank you, Ik. Really honored for
Thank you.
you to be
It's
with
an honor
us.
for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Bye, everyone. Bye, Adia and Phil, Peter.